I am 97 years old, and now I'm going to tell you something no one, not your mother, not your father, not your teachers, will ever really tell you, because this thing isn't nice, it isn't inspiring, it isn't something you share on social media. It hurts. I've lived a long life. I buried 2 wives, a brother, countless friends, and almost everyone I shared my youth with. I watched a country change, cities disappear and be rebuilt, and people become completely different. I didn't learn this at 90. I didn't learn it at 80. I learned it at 32 years old. But it took me another 67 years to fully understand what that day was trying to teach me. It was the summer of 1959, a hot Wednesday afternoon. I remember the heat because my shirt was sticking to my back as I walked up the stairs to my office. My younger brother Daniel had called me that morning. He said, "Can you come by tonight? I just want to sit and talk for a bit." His voice sounded tired, but I didn't think much of it. I told him I couldn't. I had deadlines, I had meetings, I had plans with friends. I said, "Tomorrow, Danny. We'll do it tomorrow." That night, he was killed by a drunk driver on his way home from work. By the time I reached the hospital, they had already covered his face with a white sheet. A nurse touched my arm and told me, gently, that he didn't suffer and that it was quick. They always say that. What nobody tells you is that when someone dies suddenly, they don't just take themselves with them. They take every unfinished conversation, every joke you never told, every apology you postponed, every moment you assumed you'd get back someday. Standing there beside his body, all I could think was that he only wanted to talk. That was it. Not money, not help, just my time. At his funeral, I made a promise to myself. I promised that I would never postpone people again. I promised I would always make time for the people I loved. I promised I would stop living like I had an endless supply of tomorrows. And for a while, I truly believed I had changed. I started calling my parents more often. I visited my friends. I showed up to birthdays. I told people I loved them more freely. I told myself I was finally awake. But then life happened. Work got heavier. Responsibilities piled up. I got married. I had children. Bills came. Stress came. Exhaustion came. And without even noticing it, I slowly drifted back into the same old habits. I started saying next week again. I started saying after things calm down again. I started telling myself I already learned my lesson, but I hadn't, not really, because here is the part nobody warns you about. Surviving a tragedy doesn't permanently change you. It changes you for a while, and then quietly you forget. I married my first wife, Laura, in 1963. She was gentle and patient in ways I never deserved. We were married for 38 years. We raised 2 sons together. From the outside, we looked like a happy, stable family, and we were mostly. But my biggest regret from those 38 years isn't the fights we had or the money problems or the hard times. My biggest regret is how many evenings I spent half listening to her while staring at the television. How many times she tried to talk to me about her day and I answered with distracted mumhs. How many times I chose comfort over presence. She died of a stroke in 2001. In the weeks after her funeral, memories started attacking me at random. I would be brushing my teeth and suddenly remember the night she asked me to sit outside with her and watch the stars, and I told her I was too tired. I would be driving and remember the time she wanted to take a long walk after dinner, and I said, maybe tomorrow. that maybe tomorrow never came. That's what grief really is. It isn't just missing someone, it's realizing too late how many moments you threw away when you didn't know they were precious. My oldest son, Michael, moved across the country for work in his 30s. We promised each other we would talk every week. At first we did. Then it became once a month. Then every few months. Then only on holidays. I always thought there would be more time later. He died of a heart condition at 46. One of the last messages he sent me said, "We should talk more, Dad." I never replied. I was busy that day. I still see that unread message in my dreams. I remarried when I was 78. Her name was Eleanor. She was kind and funny and slow when she walked. We were together for 17 years, and even after everything I had lost, even after all the lessons life had beaten into me, I still caught myself doing the same stupid things. I would scroll through my phone while she was talking. I would sigh when she repeated the same story. I would think, I'll really listen tomorrow. There wasn't always a tomorrow. Now I am 99 years old. My hands shake when I hold a cup. My knees hurt when I stand up. Most of my friends are dead. Almost everyone who knew me when I was young is gone. And something strange happens when you reach this age. You don't just lose people once, you lose them again and again in your memory. Every time you think about them, you remember another moment you neglected, another conversation you rushed, another hug you cut short because you were in a hurry to get somewhere that didn't matter. You're young. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is sad but not relevant yet. You're thinking everyone dies eventually. You're thinking you still have time. That's the trap. The problem isn't death. The problem is that you think you're the exception. You think your parents will always be there. You think your partner will always wait. You think you'll slow down when work calms down. It never really does. You think you'll travel when you retire. By then, your body won't cooperate. You think you'll fix your relationships when things are less stressful. Life doesn't get less stressful, it just changes the shape of its stress. Here is the cruel truth. You do have time, right now, but you are trading it for things that will not matter at the end. For emails nobody will remember. For arguments you won't care about in 5 years. For people who drain you. You are postponing the people and moments that are actually your life. I won't be here much longer. I'm not afraid of that. My body is tired. But the idea that you might live the way I did breaks my heart, because the real regret isn't the big mistakes. You can make peace with those. The real regret is being there, but not really being there. At the end of your life, you won't think about your promotions or your grades or your bank account. You will think about a random Tuesday evening when your mother made soup and you sat with her at the table. You will think about a quiet car ride with your father when neither of you said much, but you felt close. You will think about a night your partner fell asleep on your shoulder while you watched a movie. Those small, ordinary, boring moments are your life. Everything else is just noise around them. If I could go back to my 32-year-old self, I would tell him this: you are going to forget over and over again. You are going to promise yourself to do better, and then you are going to drift back into autopilot. That doesn't make you evil, it makes you human. But your real job is not to be perfect. Your real job is to notice and return. Notice when you are not present. Return to the moment. Notice when you are taking someone for granted. Return to love. again and again and again. I have lived 36 135 days, and I can count on two hands the number of days I was truly, completely present. That is my real regret. Not that I didn't make more money, not that I didn't travel more, but that I sleepwalked through most of my own life. Don't do what I did. Don't wait decades to realize that you should have loved people better while they were still here. Call someone you love today. Sit with them and say nothing. Look at their face. Listen when they talk. Be there while you still can. Because I promise you, with everything I have left, later almost never comes.